Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Village of Ossining Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting of January 12th, 2021. And due to the ongoing public health and safety concerns associated with COVID-19, the board is meeting via video conference using the Zoom platform in accordance with the governor's executive orders. There is no public participation in person tonight. Rather, the public can watch the live meeting online through Zoom. Notice of tonight's meeting was published as required and on the village website. The web notice included instructions for members of the public to access the meeting and participate in any public hearings. Comments will only be taken during the public hearing portions of the meeting as usual. In order to participate, please do the following. Members of the public attending online via the Zoom app may use the raise hand feature at the appropriate time if you would like to make a comment. The feature is located at the bottom of the screen. Those attending via telephone can press *9. The meeting host will see that your hand is raised or that you have pressed *9 and will unmute those waiting one at a time so that you may speak. Lastly, comments can be emailed during the meeting to J. Martinez, M-A-R-T-I-N-E-Z, J-M-A-R-T-I-N-E-Z at villageofossining.org. Any written comments will be read into the record. Please note that tonight's meeting is being recorded and a video and transcript will be provided at a later date. Some ground rules. In order to keep this meeting orderly and to ensure we get a clear recording, please follow these ground rules. When you are given access to speak, please state your name and address. If you are speaking during the public hearing, please limit your comments to the matter which is the subject of the hearing. If any speaker is inappropriate, they will be cut off and access removed. Board members, please mute yourselves when you are not speaking. And also to the board members, I will call on you one at a time to speak to avoid everyone speaking at once. It's the raise hand function, or literally raise your hand so that I can see you and call on you. We will use roll call voting for purposes of all board motions. This is to ensure that the record is clear. Thanks to everyone for their patience as we continue to negotiate this way of doing things. For the benefit of the record, we are going to call a roll call to kick things off. When I say your name, please indicate that you are present. Marlene Cheatham, present. George Bailing is not with us. Antonio Martinez is not with us. Kevin Griffith.
Here.
Bob Durayo.
Here.
And new to the board and welcome is Mark Gorechny.
Here, thank you, perfect.
Okay. Also with us are our building inspector, Joseph Agostinelli, planning director, Jaime Martinez, board secretary, Jamie Kane, and village land use attorney, Amanda Brossi. Amanda B. Amanda B. Okay.
I'm wondering how many years we're gonna go. Like, this is like the third year, maybe. It's like, 2022 is gonna be a year.
It was pretty good.
You know what? I always want to put an L in there, and I do apologize. So bear with me. So Mark, as you notice, I mess up Amanda's name all the time. So I did yours the first time right. So hopefully I will continue in that vein. So as we move forward, we can start our meeting. There is no continuing business of the board, so we are up to new business.
We're at 13 Meadowbrook Drive, and I'm going to add David Shore. Mr. Shever, you are here. You are a panelist, so you can speak if you want to turn on your.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you now, Mr. Shever. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, this applicant is seeking an area variance for a rear yard setback for a deck not constructed in accordance with previously granted variance, and the date of the original submission or the previously granted variance was 11/23. No, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds about right.
No,
Oh,
I
that is
believe
right.
it was
Okay.
January 14th was the variance that was
The-
previously granted.
Granted, right, okay. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what do you have to tell us, Mr. and Mr. Shover?
We came before the Zoning Board of Appeals about a year ago and got a variance for a setback violation that was apparently in place for several years. In the meantime, we had an as-built survey done as part of our application for a C of O. And the new survey showed that we were an additional 9 inches too close to the property line. So we're coming to the board now to ask for an additional 9 inches.
Okay, so back in, I'm looking, back in, I don't know what year this was. It was
So
in
the original,
January?
maybe I can try this out real quick. So the original variance was for the deck was 25.19 feet.
Right,
And when they went back and did an as-built survey, it was determined that the deck was in fact not 25.19 feet, but 25.9 feet, which is a difference of not quite, maybe 9 inches is about right. So they are requesting for the additional 0.71 feet variance. So today's variance application is not for the entirety of the 25.9 feet. It is rather a variance application for 0.71 feet.
hold on, inches, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
what was already granted.
No, you have it backwards, Jaime. The original variance was for 25.9,
25.1, right.
and now the rear yard setback, according to the as-built, is 25.19. So hence why they need the 0.71.
That doesn't sound correct.
That doesn't sound right. That
I
doesn't-
just-
That would be
I
less
just
than,
did
that would be
the
less
math.
than what they already have.
I literally just did the math. The original variance was for 25.9 feet. The as-built came in at 25.19. The difference between those is 0.71.
So the as-built is less than what they were previously granted?
Yeah,
Hence
That's-
why they need another variance. Joe, can you please clarify?
Oh,
I think it just appeared that they, when they had the as-built survey done, that the deck is
Can you hear me?
closer to the
Hello?
rear than the original one, so the difference is the 9 inches.
hello.
we can hear you, George. So I'm totally confused. I'm sorry.
Do you have the actual survey on, that you could put up there?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
This is all said, this is all right in their application.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, George.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me, Marlene?
Yeah,
Yes.
George, yeah, we can hear you.
We hear you good, George. Can you hear us?
I think why you have it,
Anybody?
why it's confusing.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
George, we hear you.
So can I just,
What you're confused about is if you look at that worksheet, that zoning chart, it tells you the minimum rear yard is supposed to be what that amount is there. It's saying, I believe.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Can I help? Marlene? They are the number that they need.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear Bob? Oh,
No,
hold on.
George is having technical issues.
Unmute. Can you hear Bob?
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Oh,
We've
good.
heard you the whole time, George.
Oh, good. I thought it was cuckoo.
Mm-mm. So
So,
the amount of variance that's needed is that number is how much more they need to meet the code. Yes, is that right, Joe?
Right, it's just, what I think why is when they filled out the worksheet, the number that's supposed to be required, they're saying they started at 25.9. Now it's 25.19, so they're 0.71 feet closer to the rear yard.
Got
That's
it.
the variance you're granting.
Yeah.
What's got you all confused is because when you're looking at that worksheet, you're expecting it to see what the zoning code requirement is for the rear yard in that district, and what they're putting there
Mhm.
is the number that's already been granted from the first variance, so now you're just doing the difference.
Right. Since we've already approved all of this stuff and already heard it, can I just make a motion that we approve the additional variance at this time?
I have to open and close the public hearing first.
Okay.
So let's go through that portion.
Okay.
I make a motion, is there anyone here to speak? No, so let's start there. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved, Marlene.
Second.
Second, if there's no objection, to opening the public hearing, let's move forward with opening the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on this, Jaime? Besides, Mr. and Mrs. Shover?
There's only one other person here, and I don't believe that they're here to speak for it. They do not have a raised hand. Let me check my emails to verify that there was nothing in my email. I have nothing in my email, so we're
Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing. Bob?
And may I have a second to close the public hearing?
Second. George Balin.
Motion to open and close the public hearing has gone forward. If there's no objection, we will close the public hearing.
I think that for purposes of the record, there's no need in a situation like this to go through all the variance criteria. Maybe you just want to state for the record that the board feels that this variance meets the criteria for an area variance in the code.
So, do I need a motion to that effect?
You could say that as whoever's making the motion.
Okay.
Making the motion.
Make a motion. Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
Go ahead.
be helpful if somebody other than the lawyer said what you just said.
Right.
I would
The
make
motion going,
For the record.
the motion on the table is that due to the prior January 14th, 2020 determination, that the amount of difference in what is being asked for today is minimal. There is nothing that is outside or has changed since the last decision, and for that reason, we will move forward with this, with the recommendation for this application.
Okay.
Does
Good.
that work?
Yes, so moved.
Second.
And are you going to do a roll call?
We need a roll call vote? Yes.
Okay. Would you like me to do that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Marlene Cheatham,
Aye.
Bob Durayo,
Aye.
Kevin Griffith,
Aye.
George Bailing,
Aye.
and Mark Gorechny.
Aye.
Okay. That's 5-0 in favor.
Motion carries. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Shover, have a great evening.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, don't do anything else to that deck.
Not for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
A long, long time, yeah.
Up next on the agenda was 35 Main Street, and that application has been removed as of now, correct?
I'm sorry, what was
So we are up,
Yeah, that one had.
oh, okay, so we took it off already. Okay. All right, so ZBA 03-2021, 7 Denny Street.
All right, we have George Joseph here. And let me see the revised zoning worksheet. And here's a zoning worksheet. The applicant, George Joseph, would you like to turn on your camera and your sound? And
Talk to us. Yeah.
that's right.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
This is my dad. I'm the architect, and it's my dad's property. And we actually started this, we were trying to repair a stair that's right on the sidewalk. And what we're trying to do is currently, it's not repairable, so we're trying to reconstruct it. And I guess since it is on the sidewalk, we cannot get the front yard setback. So we're actually asking for a variance for, I think the front yard setback is 30 feet and we don't have it. So we're asking for that variance. And the building is, we bought it in 2017, but the building has been there for quite some time now.
Right. So this building has already gotten the village board approvals for the stair to go on the sidewalk, correct?
Yeah, we did get a licensing agreement from the village board.
And this is the only means of entrance into the apartment upstairs?
Yeah, there's two apartments accessing this stair, and this is the only means to get there.
Okay.
And it's already been approved, right? By everybody else.
Well, the Board of Trustees issued a license agreement, but you still have to determine whether they get an area variance. So it's a different
You have to
analysis.
go through the list.
And I would note that Joe probably should clarify this a little bit more, but this falls into a quirk. This was an existing stairwell that just needed to be demolished and needs to be put back. So it was more than, I think, Joe, maybe you can clear this up, but it's like more than 50% replacement, turns it into essentially demolishing, and then you have to go get a variance for it. That's just a quirk in the code.
Yeah, I think the intent was at first was that the owner of the property wanted to repair the staircase because it was structurally damaged, but in the process of doing that, it had such extensive damage that they pretty much rebuilt a new one. But there was a staircase there original, which may have been original to the building. And this building is, who knows, about over 100 years old. So since there was no record that this staircase was on the village's property, Corporation Counsel, Stuart Kahan, felt that it was a good idea at this point, since they were putting a new set of stairs there, to do an agreement with the village and the homeowner. But with that being said, formally they need to get that variance because it's a new structure that's being put in there, and we're just trying to get this on record. So they've gone through all the channels they need to get everything proper, the proper variance, the agreement with the village because it's on their property. But there was a staircase there originally.
Okay. Is there any other questions from the board? May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
The public hearing, George.
Is there anyone else to speak on this, Jaime?
There is no one else here.
Then may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
No objection, the motion to open and close the public hearing will go forward. Okay, this is an area variance. It is a new one, so we would have to go through the determining factors for an area variance. Amanda, do you want to go through this?
Sure. So the first factor is whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance.
They're replacing something with something that's identical, so no.
No, I say no.
No.
And it is identical, right?
Yes.
Question to the applicants?
Yeah.
Okay. The next factor is whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance.
No.
No.
No, this is the only, and that was the question that I asked. This is the
Sure.
only entrance and exit to the apartments in that building. So the staircase is something that is necessary.
Yeah, Mr. Joseph, these are questions that the zoning board needs to answer, so you're not being asked questions.
Oh, sorry.
We're not asking you.
You just listen at this point. Thank you, Doug.
Didn't realize that was happening.
And the other thing, Marlene, is I believe when you look at the constraints of that property, there's no other place to put that staircase.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Know that.
All right, the next factor is whether the requested area variance is substantial. Do we know the exact dimensions that we'll be granting here, which is also important for purposes of drafting the resolution?
I believe it's 30 feet.
Yeah, the zoning worksheet had it at 30 feet.
Yeah, that's what they said.
It does say 30 feet, so
It is 30 feet because the end of the staircase at the bottom lands in the village's right of way anyway. So it's the full 30 feet.
okay.
Okay, good,
It's the full
Joe.
30 feet.
Good.
And you're saying, no, that's not substantial.
Though it
No.
may be substantial, it is not a deterrent to granting this application.
I agree.
Yes.
Joining that.
The next factor is whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district.
No.
Clearly
The
not.
answer-
No.
I would say no, it's an existing staircase that
No.
needs to be improved upon so that it actually would
Be safer.
be increased safety to the residents that currently live in that property.
I concur.
Okay, and the last factor is whether the alleged difficulty was self-created.
No,
It was there when they got
No.
there.
It was
was
there
there.
when they bought the building, yeah.
exactly.
All right.
Natural wear and tear.
That's
After going through the factors, is it the determination of the board to grant this application?
George Belling, yes.
Bob Durayo, yes.
Mark Gresham, yes.
Evan Griffith, yes.
Marlene Cheatham, yes. Are we missing somebody?
So is someone,
Bob?
Yes.
I think everybody said yes.
Mhm. I think it's.
Okay, Bob?
Hi, George.
so is someone going to
Good.
be making a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
So moved. Second.
So motion granted?
Do you
Or
want
do
me
we
to
have
do a
to-
roll call?
We
Or
can do a
you
roll
already
call.
did a roll call or what?
Yeah, go ahead, do a roll call.
Okay.
We'll do it the right way this time.
Marlene? Marlene?
Aye.
Okay. Bob Durayo?
Aye.
Kevin Griffith?
Aye.
George Bailing?
Aye.
And Mark Grechny.
Aye.
All right. So that passes 5-0. Sorry, I'm not trying to be annoying. I'm doing it for the record.
Sure.
Has to be procedurally proper.
Mr. Joseph, thank you. Your application has been approved. happy building and have a good year.
Stay safe, y'all.
You're looking good on the screen.
One more thing. This has nothing to do with the applications that were on tonight's agenda, but wanted to make a quick note about 3 Terrace, which was on the board's December agenda. There was some confusion about the amount of the variances required. The variances that were applied for were an 8-foot side yard and a 9-foot combined side yard variance. So I just wanted to clarify for the record so that that's what was granted last month, and that will be made clear in the resolution. Just wanted to say that tonight.
Okay, good, thank you.
One last thing I'd also like to mention. Last year we did a training. Amanda, you had put together a training for the zoning board.
Can we back up into the meeting first, though? Can I just have the minutes approved for the December meeting?
Need a
Move
motion?
to approve, George.
Thank you. Have a second.
Second.
Wait, Mark, did Mark make that second?
No, he wasn't here.
No, Mark
Right.
wasn't here.
That's what I was gonna say.
All
So
right, I'll second it.
So, George?
Yes,
George second?
yes.
Okay. All those in, no, do we have to do a roll call? Not for the minutes, right?
Unanimous, you can do it unanimous consent.
Except for Mark, I'm going to ask that you abstain because you weren't here for that meeting. So by unanimous consent and 1 abstention, if everybody is fine with that, then we will
Approve the
have the
minutes.
motion approved to approve the minutes from the December 2020. Boy, I can't remember. Board meeting, zoning board meeting. You know what we are.
Motion to approve.
You can edit that out, James.
Oh, God.
Okay, thank you. That basically concludes the meeting. So can we, if you want, we have other discussions?
Yeah, just one last thing, the training. So we do want to set up a training for the zoning board. Maybe, Karen had thought maybe a joint even of the planning board and the zoning board, bringing them together to talk about kind of doing a land use training. I don't know. We haven't spoken. This is the first time I actually pitched it to Amanda as well, but just kind of want to put that on your radar and think about, a time frame that we'd like to put something like that together. If you want to do it before next meeting or after next meeting, just let us know. Or if there's any topics that you want to cover in a
Now in the
training.
next meeting, I think, unless that puts
Good idea.
strain on the staff. So I think the question of the scheduling, I think it should be Jaime, Jamie, and Amanda to make that decision because we don't know what their workload looks like.
I'm pretty sure Jamie can do a Google Meets and we can figure out when everybody can kind of, if we're doing both boards or more than one board, it'll, for one thing, Amanda's time would be narrow, she wouldn't have to do 2 or 3 training sessions all at the same time with all the same stuff. So,
right, I don't know. It might be a little, maybe counterproductive to do a joint meeting because the board's responsibilities are pretty divided.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm fine with separate trainings because it seems to make sense to me logically. Unless you had topics like SECRA or other things like that you wanted to talk about in a joint setting. But the zoning board has its responsibilities and the planning board and BAR has its responsibilities. So
I agree with you, man.
but with staff, I can talk about that with.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, but yeah, we'll I guess we'll have a follow up. If there are any topics though that you want to have discussed at this, like if there's a certain thing that is of particular interest, use variances or
Interpretations.
Yeah.
Yes, coaching
Yeah.
Can I also, just as a note, and I don't know if anyone saw Joe, after all those discussions with Aqueduct Street, did you notice it was just sold?
For how much more?
for, it was a $400,000, a little over $400,000. So he made about $130,000 on that deal.
No, that's good for him.
This gets back to my point about so when people claim hardship, the value of a property is not just in the cash flow, which is the cash flow is one thing, but value is what you can sell it for. And
Right.
so if you can resell a property, then that's what your value is. People will claim hardship based off of cash flow, and cash
That
flow.
was the guy with the garage, right? With the
Yes.
Yeah, he's trying to turn the basement garage into, units. So I don't know who he sold it to. If he sold it to a person who's a homeowner that's going to rent it to a family member downstairs, then that's what you want in the T-zone, right? You want people who are going to live there and they're going to rent a unit, as opposed to having people from out of town treating it like it's a multifamily, because it's not. They do that, and it's like a square peg in a round hole.
Well, what he probably did was he probably sold it to somebody else, telling them that that was a legal apartment, and they probably don't know that they're not supposed to have that apartment there because he never went forward with moving it.
Well,
that'd be
that's a surprise.
He was waiting for the zoning board to make a determination if they would grant it, and then all of a sudden he sold it, and now I have a new owner to deal with the same problem all over again.
Well, that's
Due diligence, that's their problem.
That's down the road.
Absolutely.
The
Can't wait to deal with that one again.
The next owner is going to say the same thing. I was told it was a 3-family.
Mhm.
I mean, the next owner comes up and tries to get into a 3-family. I'm going to be like, man, this has been rejected recently. So
We should grant it this time.
That was good.
I'm with Kevin.
Don't anticipate problems in the future.
Yeah, because you
Mark
didn't
is
like
like,
that other guy.
What is
Nice.
this all about? The inside joke that you're not in on.
Hey,
The other thing is, and I don't know if anybody noticed, but Hudson Step is in foreclosure.
I heard that.
Yeah,
And they
so
owe 700.
those of us who work in the village already knew about all this.
Okay.
It's actually kind of been in foreclosure for a minute. They had a kind of a fallback period, but
Don't they owe us $700,000 back?
Here's the update with that. Right there in front of the Board of Trustees tomorrow night.
Uh-huh.
And they have a deadline to get in a whole bunch of stuff, and at 4:30 tonight, they started emailing me every piece of information they were missing to get a building permit. And now what's holding them up is just making all these payments.
Yeah.
And it appears that tomorrow they're rushing to try to get all this money that they owe to the village in. My guess is that they have no intention of building this project, but they want to get everything in place.
So that they can
They've
sell
done
it.
everything
They
and
can
it's
sell
ready
it
to
too.
go so they can unload it to someone.
they can't get a building permit. Oh my God! You know what? I mean, I need to be quiet. I'm
They're
sorry.
not gonna, then they obviously have to
Then
make, they have to pay all this money before any. permit.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
see what happens.
$700,000
More like
back
close-
taxes.
They're almost about $1 million.
Hmm.
That's due.
okay.
If they can
Look,
come up with all that tomorrow, we'll see.
they can
Wow.
scrounge up $1 million.
We probably should not spend too much time talking about the specifics of the project here,
Yeah, we'll see.
lest we get into some sort of trouble.
It's all public record.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all concerned citizens.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. The lawyer says
All
it's
right.
No, but
Well, I'm a lawyer too.
Well, we'll know by tomorrow night. We'll know by tomorrow night when they face the Board of Trustees.
We have 3 lawyers. Kevin, I apologize. I never knew what you did. I didn't know you were a lawyer. Now
Too
we have
many
3
lawyers, right? Too many lawyers.
Yeah.
Well, they'll
Mark,
know
are you a
by
lawyer
tomorrow
too?
night, right? Because
I
they
am.
have to go in front of the
Oh,
BOT,
God.
see what happens. by
So
tomorrow.
Mark, Antonio, Kevin, that's 3 lawyers on the board.
Nice, there you go.
yeah, not a bad.
And we'll give you 3 different opinions.
Oh, geez.
And you're not a lawyer, Marlene.
Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Welcome, welcome.
Great.
Okay, so this was short and sweet. Everyone have a good night. And we look forward to next month. Jamie, I'm sure we'll get in touch with you, Mark, to point you in the direction of where to find all the information
That'd be
that
great.
you're going to need for the next meeting. It's usually up at least 2 weeks before. or as she says, 10 days in advance. So, and if you have any questions, just give us a call.